In this video, we will discuss the 911 emergency call system and its reliability, along with steps that you can take to safeguard yourself and your family members. And we are starting right now. Hey, what's up? John here, and this is Prep Busters. We help you go further faster as you prepare for any emergency or disaster situation. We also blast through endless myths relating to disaster preparedness. On this channel, we have weekly tips and strategy videos, as well as equipment reviews and interviews with folks who can help you in your quest to be ready. If you are new here, consider subscribing. And hey, keep in mind, we post notes and related links in the description area and use the comment section below to continue the conversation after the video is published. Your comments are important to us, and we do our best to respond to each and every one. So let's talk about 911 telephone systems. When it comes to emergency call routing systems, the 911 system in the United States is easily the largest and most complex system in the entire planet. Unfortunately though, regardless of the multiple layers of redundancy and backup systems, anything that large can fall victim to automation, human, or software failures. This situation is further compounded by the fact that there are multiple generations of people who have never lived without a 911 emergency system. Let's take a minute to put this all in perspective. Let's say that you were at the beach with a group of people and that one of the persons in the group suddenly collapsed and was unresponsive. Luckily for you, there are two people in the group who are medical professionals, and so they quickly take over care of the patient. Obviously, though, they're not going to have advanced life support equipment with them, so somebody is going to have to contact 911. You quickly check your cell phone and find that you don't have any cell coverage. But being the most prepared person in the group, you remembered that there was a large sand dune behind you that when you went over that, you did have cell coverage. So you quickly run up the sand dune to try and make a call. After being winded from running up the dunes, you hurriedly check your cell phone and are relieved to find that you do have some cell coverage. So you quickly try to make a 911 call, and this is what you experience. Okay, come on. Come on. Is this phone even working? What the? Would you hurt? What is going on with this phone? What? Jeez. Okay, there we go. Come on. Come on, pick up. What is going on here?
911 emergency.
Now that took what would seem like hours for that call to complete, but at least you did make it through. But what if instead of that call, you get something like this? Okay, come on. Come on. Is this phone even working? What the? Would you hurt? What is going on with this phone? What? Jeez. Okay, there we go. Come on. Come on, pick up. What is going on here?
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
So now what do you do? Well, the obvious answer is to get a non-emergency or alternate telephone number for whatever emergency agency you're trying to contact. But with limited cell service, how are you going to do that? Even if you call someone else that you know and have them look up the telephone number for you, which agency are they even going to look up the telephone number for? Now, before we continue, we can already hear some folks that are out there probably saying something to the effect of, this is crazy. The 911 system just doesn't go down like that. Well, for those folks, we offer this. The website screenshots in that video were obtained through a simple internet search under the topic of 911 outage. The examples in the video cover a little bit more than a year, though we did find entries going as far back as 2013. For the record, we're not saying we have a bad emergency call system, and rather than debate what the probability odds would be to actually experience 911 outage, we feel that the more prudent option is to take a small amount of time to be prepared, in case your unlucky number should come up in the 911 lottery. So with all that said, what can we do? Well, the obvious easy answer is to have alternative telephone numbers for whatever agency you want to contact. With that said, things can get a little bit more complicated if you don't even know exactly which agency it is that you need to contact. With the 911 system, we are spoiled by calling one number and having our call routed to the appropriate agency automatically. Emergency calls generally involve three areas: police, fire, or medical. Each agency generally has an established response coverage area. When it comes to police, you would need a city police department if your location is within the geographic city limits. A sheriff's office will generally handle the unincorporated areas of a given county. And state law enforcement agencies are generally going to either be a highway patrol or state police. Highway patrol is going to be responsible for traffic enforcement throughout the state, as well as accident investigation on state and federal highways and freeways. A state police agency will generally handle traffic enforcement throughout the state, accident investigations on state and federal highways, as well as general law enforcement duties in unincorporated areas similar to the sheriff's offices. And if you're located on federal land, you would need to contact a federal law enforcement agency. Fire departments will generally work along the same way as law enforcement agencies, being city or county agencies. Where things can get tricky with fire departments is there are some states with limited to no rural fire protection. This can also be compounded to the fact when you get outside of a large city, a lot of fire agencies are predominantly manned by volunteers. And even if they do have fire protection, they might have limited to no medical coverage whatsoever. Now, we're not saying that you need to build an alternative telephone database that covers the entire country along with geographical response areas of every agency. What we recommend is that you start with the areas where you will be spending the most time, whether that be home, school, or work. And then from there you can expand on the coverage areas. You can generally obtain contact information on an agency's website, which may also have information such as geographic response areas. Once you have your list of telephone numbers and are sure that they are non-emergency phone numbers, go ahead and call the agencies and then check with them to verify that, number one, this would be the best number to call in the event that their 911 system did go down, and number two, that the phone number actually is answered 24 hours a day. Once you have your list finalized, go ahead and list it out along with the areas of coverage for that given agency, and then share it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family members. We have a great video on creating a valuable document binder that is actually very helpful in this matter. We'll go ahead and put a link to it in the description area below, and we'll link to it at the end of the video. So you're probably thinking, well, that should pretty much cover it, right? Well, no. We want to give you a couple more tools that can help bolster your chances of getting you the help you need in an emergency. First off, in addition to what we've already discussed, identify the closest major cross streets, and then write down a basic description of how to get to your house or business from that intersection. Something like, from the intersection of Disaster Street and Emergency Avenue, go north on Disaster Street 5 houses. The house is located on the north side of the street. It is a white 2-story split-level home with 2 cars on blocks in the front yard. Next, go to that intersection and follow your directions back to your residence. And then once you're at the residence, first off, do your directions make sense? Once you're back at the residence, take a look at your house from the street. Is your address clearly visible from the street? By visible, we're looking for things like this: street address on the curb, In the yard? Or maybe this. Now, if you live in a rural area, you could have even more complex issue. Let's say that the earlier medical event that we talked about, as an example, occurred at your residence or bunker while you were having an MRE dinner party. But this time, you are armed with all of the right numbers, and you get hold of the right agency, and they assure you that help is on the way. Everything is good so far, right? Well, maybe yes or maybe no. What if that small armada of emergency vehicles spends the time racing to your residence and drives right up to the address given to them, only to find this? Now, if you're lucky, you have an amazing dog, and this is what happens. Now, if you don't have a wonder dog, well, I'm sorry. As odd as it may seem, I can personally attest through several years of law enforcement to experiencing that very same scenario. The multiple mailbox part, not the buddy part. You have a large cluster of mailboxes that are located at a place that is convenient for rural mail delivery, yet don't really have a direct correlation to the individual residences. Most agencies have been able to address that problem through the use of computer-aided dispatch systems. But just like 911 systems, CAD systems can also fail, as they did in the video that you saw with Buddy. With that in mind, if this is your situation, you might want to consider following the same steps that we prescribe for somebody in an incorporated area and expanding that as needed to even possibly include placing signs out as markers along the way. And now for the question of the day, how many different agencies do you have to maintain on your list in order to get the assistance you might need at your residence, place of work, or school? Please type your answers in the comment section below so that we can continue the conversation after the video is published. Okay, this is actually where we would place the end of the video. And we did give you the Easter egg that we talked about in the beginning. However, while researching the background data for this show, we discovered that Buddy, the amazing German Shepherd that guided the trooper to the burning house, had lost a battle with liver cancer just a few short years after that video was made. That news hit very close to home for me personally, as my wife and I had recently lost our boy Jaeger, an amazing German Shepherd that could pass as a twin for Buddy, to liver cancer. So we're going to post a few links in the description area of some YouTube videos that discuss a little bit more of the amazing job that Buddy did in leading that trooper to the burning house. For the folks that are not much into animals, this is your notice that the video is basically done. For everyone else, we are going to attach a short video as a tribute to Buddy and our boy Jaeger. Luckily, we recorded the ending of the video as well as this section before putting the tribute video together. So here goes. We hope you enjoy it.
Amazing story of a dog leading a state trooper down a rural road to a burning house.
Bill Hendricks was working in the shed next to his home north of Anchorage, Alaska, when a spark accidentally ignited some gasoline. The shed went up in flames, and he let his German Shepherd Buddy out and fled himself. And as he went out, he said, "We got to get help." And with that, Buddy took off running. Responding to reports of a fire and lost on the windy rural backroads of Caswell Lakes, Alaskan Trooper Terrence Shanigan was at a crossroads, literally about what to do. His GPS system had frozen up, and he knew that every second counted. So when he saw Buddy, the German Shepherd, approach his car, Shanigan let his dog-mushing instincts take over.
On this particular day, there was just some connection. And Buddy was able to connect with me. And there was a gut feeling, just intuition to follow the dog. He was giving me a lot of cues, looking back over his shoulder, loping, would kind of turn a little bit, wanting me to speed up. And once I got there, I knew, I just had that feeling. When the dog came around, and Buddy actually greeted me at my driver's side door, nudged me with his nose towards the house. It was just surreal for that brief moment. And they told me that one of the dogs was unaccounted for. I asked them if it was a German Shepherd. And when they described him to me, that's when we realized that it must have been Buddy that actually showed me all the way to the house.
For his heroic actions, Buddy was awarded a silver dog bowl at a ceremony yesterday. And as it turns out, this was not the first time that Buddy has saved his owner.
He's protected me more than this time. He's chased off bears for me when I was out fishing.
And while a silver bowl may be nice, Buddy's real reward is going to come in a few days.
His reward's gonna come here in the next couple of days. I'm gonna give him a nice big steak.
There was just some connection. And Buddy was able to connect with me, and there was a gut feeling, just intuition to follow the dog. He was giving me a lot of cues, looking back over his shoulder, loping, would kind of turn a little bit, wanting me to speed up. Buddy actually greeted me at my driver's side door, nudged me with his nose towards the house. It was just surreal for that brief moment.
Your wheels press call you mine.
Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe and click the bell if you are new here. And if you'd like to check out our video on creating a valuable documents binder, go ahead and click up here. Or for another great video from Pet Busters, go ahead and click here. Until next time, this channel is all about helping you go further faster as you prepare for nearly any emergency or disaster situation. So keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.